All right. Good evening, gang. Tis Tuesday, and we're here. Let's see if we got a screen. We'll kind of move on along. Do 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 do. Come on, computer. Let's go. There it is. All right. Can you guys hear me? High five. Dick. Pennsylvania Mama Bear. Okay. J Boo. Amish Beach Dogs. Prepping Mimi. Don Quest, Nanny, Scrapper. All right, good. We got 5 by 5. Cool. You guys can hear me. All right. I hope y'all are staying out of the heat. We finally got under 100-degree heat index in the last half an hour. At 7 o'clock, we were still at 102 heat index. And I know some of you guys are going, boy, you guys are having winter. I know. I've seen some of these, 115 heat index, like what was it, Jacksonville, Florida, or something like that. I think it was 114 or 115 yesterday. It's brutal. So yeah, so I was out crack of dawn this morning picking vegetables, trying to do it before it was too hot. I was still dripping in sweat by the time I was done. But yeah, it was fun. Somebody sent me the black plum tomatoes, and I think I planted a dozen, either 12 or 14 plants. And we've been eating those tomatoes. They've started coming in. They started coming in maybe about a week ago. We'd have enough to make a nice tomato cucumber salad because God knows I got cucumbers. And so yesterday, no, take it back, Sunday, I was out mowing the lawn and went by the uh, tomatoes. I'm like, holy crap, there's a bunch on there. So I went out this morning and picked about 4 gallons of tomatoes. Now, mind you, these things are the size of cherry tomatoes. So you figure what that was. So I mean, I was out there for a good 45 minutes pulling these tomatoes off. Took a 5 gallon bucket out there. We got about 4 gallons in it. And so then Mrs. P and I spent the rest of the day making tomato sauce out of it. So that was it. So we just finished canning all that about quarter after 6. And then I was like, okay, take a shower and have dinner. And it's like, okay, now I got to go do the live stream. So that was it. So that was the excitement around here. My corn, I wanted to show you guys this. This is it's a small ear. I've got huge ears, but this was one where the stalk had broke off and this one was ready. So there is my Jimmy Red corn, and I've got huge ears of it. This one's just a little one, but I wanted it because I've never grown it before, so I wanted to see what it was like. And, okay, there you go. Nice dark red, maroon, firm. This one's certainly dry. Was ready to pick, but so we will be doing that, and then make a little contraption to take all the corn off the corn husk or the ear of the corn, and then grind it all into cracked corn, and some of it will be turned into mash and some of it will turn into corn flour, and we'll move on there. So that was it. But yeah, it's harvest time and canning time, and nothing like canning when it's 100 degrees outside, but got to do it when you got to do it. So see what else I got. Tomatoes, peppers aren't ready yet. They're coming along. The corn is about ready. I'd say it needs maybe a week yet for some to completely dry out. Cucumbers, I got. I can't keep up with cucumbers. Uh, Sweet potatoes are looking good. I got about a month till I can focus. Sweet potatoes, I think that's all that's left. Yeah, so that was it. No fall planting for me this year. Mrs. P and I have decided that next year we're going to put the gardens to rest because I've been planting and I'm planting them nonstop for 6 years, and I want to get the gardens just a chance to rebuild, if you will. I'll still put all the lawn clippings and the leaves and compost and everything like that in there, and just let that work for about a year. I'll probably just do some bucket planting last year, but I mean, I don't have any canning jars left. I mean, everything is full. Uh, as we eat something out of a jar, we're filling it with something else, and I'm running out of room. So it's like I told her, I said, "We're going to take a year off." I said, "Before we plant again, and then 2027 we will know what I want to plant again." So, but just like a farmer will let a field lay barren for a year or something like that, I'm going to do the same thing here, so I don't completely deplete the garden and can't get it back. So, and I'll get some more of my organic material put in there and everything, and then just let the worms do their thing for a year. That's kind of my plan. So, uh, healthy disrespect says, "What do I do with my seed potatoes for uh, when I'm resting my garden?" Actually, because I didn't plant potatoes this year, and I had seed potatoes from last year, and so what I had done was I planted my seed potatoes from last year into 5-gallon buckets this year. And in fact, it was Friday or Saturday, I think it was, that I pulled all the potatoes out of the buckets and basically to keep my seed stock going. So I pulled those out, got myself a few dozen potatoes, and they will sit and be seed stock for next year. And if I'm going to do that again next year, because if I'm not planting anything or whatever, because I've still got boatloads of potatoes, uh, I'll just redo it that way, just plant it in 5-gallon buckets to continue my seed stock. I mean, that's it. I mean, you think about it, if you're just growing for seed stock, you don't need much. I mean, if I needed Jimmy Red corn, I think I got enough seed right here. It's more than I planted. Okay. One ear. How many seeds in a tomato or in a cucumber or whatever it is. I mean, literally one of whatever you need. I mean, with the exception of beans, beans you need a bunch. Uh, but really, most everything else, there's enough seed in it, green peppers or whatever. If you're going to save seed, you literally need one plant. Now, potatoes, I'm going to need more. So, okay, fine. But, I usually plant 3 or 4 rows of potatoes, enough to get me about 150 pounds of tomatoes or potatoes. And so, 3 dozen, maybe 4 dozen potatoes is all I need. And that'll get me everything I need from there. Watching get deer in the backyard earlier here. I'm waiting to see if they come back. So, yeah, so that was the day. And I know you guys are all dealing with the heat as well. Unfortunately, we got a little bit of rain yesterday because, yeah, I saw earlier somebody said that their herb garden was all wilting. This heat will do damage to your garden quick. But if you're watering at this point, best thing to do is water it first thing in the morning. Get out there, go turn on the sprinkler before you take your shower and go to work, and shut it off as you walk out the door. Something like that. Let it soak in before it gets too hot and evaporates. And don't try doing it at this heat right now. You're just inviting disease. But yeah, it makes it tough right now having the water gardens. So, somebody said my mic keeps going in and out. I don't know what to tell you guys. I've tried every damn different microphone, different jacks, a different computer, the whole 9 yards. So I'm just hoping we can hang in there as best we can. I don't know. The only thing I can think of now is it's my internet connection. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, I've got fiber internet, but obviously it's Wi-Fi here in the house. So that's at this point, that's it. I've tried everything else I could. I mean, everything is different at this point. And it could be me turning my head or whatever too. So, and then of course my voice kind of goes up and down as I talk. All right, let us do our giveaway for this evening. If you guys were around last week, I reviewed the Fossabot F2400. This is not a new company, but a new one for me to be working with to check out their products. And I was actually pretty impressed with this thing. So first time I'd used one of those. So you guys got to see that. It was a hell of a deal on it. So uh, we are giving one of those away tonight. Now, if you guys remember how we did this, I know it's been a while. Uh, we'll go through the random comment picker, and I'm looking for a comment that was on last week's video that has the state in which you live in and the letter X as an X. Has to have both of those in the comment to be a valid entry. Then the person whose name I call will have 3 minutes to say they are here. That's all they need to say, I'm here, and that's good enough. If they get me their address tonight, I will take it to UPS tomorrow and ship it out tomorrow morning. So depending on where the winner is, feasibly have it by the weekend, maybe beginning of the week. So, all right. The one thing I will say is please listen to me on this. When I say it and when all the mods say it, no more comments. That means no more comments. The only person who I want to see a comment from is whoever the winner is, whoever's name I call. Otherwise, if you comment in there, you just get brutal. And you don't want to do that because there's at least one more box sitting over here we're going to talk about later this week. So, all right, let us Uh, Duck Commando, yeah, I've gone on to speed test, Ookla, and stuff like that. And my upload speed and my download speed are fabulous, but that it is what it is. So, all right. So let me get back to here. We can do this. Share there, and I will make sure you can see it. So at this point, guys, no more comments. Moderators, put it out there. No more comments. We do not want to see any more comments. Once the moderators start putting it up, guys, that's the line that's been drawn. Okay, because I know I have a delay here. So just waiting. Okay, so now I can see this. Mods, get it out there. No more comments. Make sure we don't see it. I don't want to see any comments. I want to see the moderators say no more comments. There we go. Bad backwards. Words. Okay. Good. Rebel at Rebel. Thank you, gentlemen, ladies. Appreciate you putting that up there. All right. So we are, I got to get to the right screen for me. There we go. All right. So right here is the link to last week's video. We will go fetch. And we do not include replies. It is primary comments only. You guys have heard this speech a million times. Do not allow duplicates. Everybody gets one entry. Let's see how many entries we have. We have 1,600 people in here. So let's see how close we are to 1,600 entries. Do, 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 14, 15, 16, 17. 1,733 comments. All right, guys, here we go. Picking a winner. Make sure the screen is still good. Okay, it's still showing there. Oh, you guys don't see the 1,700 yet. Okay. Oh, do. All right, and here we go. Picking a winner. We have Vicky Owen S3E. Hi, Pinball. I live in the state of Texas. That would do it. It'll be an extra edition or prepping extra edition. Oh, edition. in our prepping staff. Gotcha. All right, Vicky Owen, that is a valid entry. So, Vicky, we are looking for you. It is 8:15. So, Vicky, you have till 8:18 to announce your presence. And at this point, no, we already lost you. Great. There we go. One of these days, we're going to go through an entire giveaway without having anybody comment. Only been saying the same thing for 3 years now. All right, Vicky Owen, we are looking for you from down in Texas. And Vicky is here. There we go. All right. I'm going to double check. That's close, but look at your sign on real quick. Do. No one. That is it. All right, Vicky, that is good. Congratulations. You are the lucky winner. What I need you to do is email me your name, address, and phone number. I send this UPS. I have it, so it's coming from me. I send it UPS, so don't give me a post office box. I need a physical address. Get that to me this evening. Email address is under every video. It's pinball preparedness at mail, the number two world.com. Get it to me this evening. I'll get everything sent out tomorrow. So there we go. Congratulations. All right. So that being said, we actually got through it quickly. Not one of those days where I got to draw 5 names. We will get into Q&A here. We got plenty of time for it. So two things for Q&A. You feel free to ask whatever you want. Only thing I ask of everybody is put all your comments in all caps. That way I can find them a lot easier, makes the chat go by a lot smoother because I know what I'm looking for. The only thing I require out of everybody is that when you are making any sort of comments, that you do it politely with respect to your fellow people here in the live stream. Disagreement is fine. I've said that many, many times, but being rude to somebody, being obnoxious, being insulting, that gets you the boot from the channel permanently. There is no second chance. Okay. So, all right, let us get into it here. And congratulations. Uh, okay. Jelly fan. When I see that, I think Chris Chelios. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not. Where can we buy a pinball card decal? I don't know because I don't have any. So, you know, the only thing I have is the little patches. Uh, the army shoulder patch. Uh, that's the only thing I've ever had made up. I've still got some of those, but card decals and stuff like that. No, I don't have anything like that. And I've had companies and people want me to, oh, you should do merch and everything. No, okay, you guys, some of you guys get it. How much work goes into a channel in the first place? I really don't feel like trying to manage a storefront too. So, not square to prepare pinball. Do you think we can get a garden tour bid? Well, considering a lot of it's already done, uh, I mean, my onions are gone, my beans are gone, my cabbage is gone, my beets are gone, my garlic's gone. I mean, my gardens are half empty already. So I don't know. Maybe I'll do something when I do the corn or the sweet potatoes or something like that. Uh, but yeah, I mean, my gardens look like all yours at this point. I mean, it's rough. I mean, from this heat. Uh, Jerry Cox, any suggestions on a good, bright, rechargeable flashlight, one that will last longer than a year? Uh, the ones that Mrs. P and I have, I love these things, are it's O-Light, the letter O, Light. We've got ones they are probably 4, maybe they're 5 inches long, uh, and rechargeable, just magnet, recharge it, put it right on the back. It's great. Have a little holster, if you will, for the flashlight. But the light that this little thing throws, I mean, it here, hang on, I'll show you how big this thing is. Ah, okay. All right. So here you go. This is the whole thing. You know, it's not big, but I don't off the top of my head, I don't know how many lumens this thing is, but I'll walk out there when I let the dogs out, especially in wintertime or something like that, or when I get up in the morning at 4 o'clock. And I can track them all over the yard, you know. And again, I got 3 acres. I mean, I'm on one side. If dogs go to the other side of the property, which from here from here to the other side of the property, what are we, 300 by 400? So yeah, I mean they've got to be 250 feet away, and I'm spotlighting them in. So these things, it's about $100, but it's a great flashlight. All right, find backward. Uh, come on. Mallory Fay, can I please explain what is 5 by 5? 5 by 5 means that you can see me clearly and you can hear me clearly. So that fuzzy, that I'm not breaking up or anything like that. So 5 by 5, it's just a military phrase, if you will, on I can see you, I can hear you, use it over the radio. Circe, good point. Garden tour coming up soon. Already answered that. Okay. Dasha Kai, after you harvest your seeds, how do you store them? In envelopes, in the fridge, or in the freezer? I put them in envelopes and stick them in a drawer. That's it. Okay. They don't need to go in a fridge. They don't need to go in a freezer. I will give you this. There are some flowers that need stratification. It is they need they need that cold temperature. Okay. Those seeds, yes, you have to put in the fridge, for months or whatever, so they will grow because nature they fall in the ground, they go over winter, and they'll go. I'm not aware of any vegetable seeds that need to stratify. So, Laura Story, Pinball, have I made salsa? I've made plenty of salsa. We have so much salsa, we don't need any more. That's why we're not making it this year. We decided to make tomato sauce instead, uh, because you know tomato sauce are real quick. It's like, oh, we need something quick. Hey, great! Here, boil some spaghetti, tomato sauce over it. You're done. So that always works. But I've got jars and jars and jars and jars and jars of salsa, and it's not like we're eating them with chips. Mrs. P and I will use salsa over spaghetti, or we'll make a salsa chicken or something like that. So we use salsa more as a sauce than as a dip. Obviously salsa is great to put over burritos or something like that when we make those. Uh, but I mean, I've got dozens of quart jars of salsa. I don't need to make it for a few years. I haven't made it in a few years. I mean, that was what was it, 2022 or 2023? I had so many jalapenos. It was unbelievable. I mean, I go out there and I had 50 on a plant, and I had like a dozen plants out, and we were just slicing jalapenos over. And I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do with the store jalapenos, and so it was like it all got turned into salsa. L.A. Morris, what would you do if you found marauders raiding your garden in the middle of the night? Depends on the scenario, okay? Right now, it's very possible to have it. You've got 20 million illegals running around the country that are looking for food. They're just stealing out of your garden. You're going to have a problem if you do something there. Uh, Violent, let's put it that way. You're going to have that problem. I would certainly confront them. I would certainly chase them away. If it comes to the point where in a WROL situation, without rule of law, I'm not going to bother confronting them. I'm just going to scope them and shoot them, and that's it. Again, it's my same theory for how you solve the border crisis real quick. You put a fence on the border, you put a fence a mile away, you sell tickets along the mile away fence and say anything with it between those two fences is free to shoot at. This is, cost you $1,000 for a ticket for the day. Guarantee you'll sell the tickets. And guarantee within a week there's nothing in that zone to shoot at. So don't worry about it. My secondhand life. Why did I give up the carnivore diet? I didn't give it up. Well, okay, let's put it this way. I kind of converted from carnivore to keto probably October, November of last year, because just eating meat gets very, very, very boring. Uh, and you really, I know they say, oh, eat ribeye steaks. Okay, first off, ribeye steaks are crazy expensive, so you're not doing that. So you're trying to find something else. But even then, try to eat a steak every day for a week and see if you want another steak. Okay. So we went to with Mrs. P and I would make we'd either make a chuck roast, which was fatty meat, which is what you're looking for. Something out of 73/27 ground beef. We would make chicken thighs, usually lemon pepper chicken thighs, or ribeye cut pork chops. That was it. And after 9 months of eating four different things, that was it. I'm like, you know, I really want some Brussels sprouts. I want some green beans. I want something. So basically we went to keto. And for the most part, we're still doing keto. Uh, it will be once a week, maybe, where we'll throw something. I mean, it turned out to be tonight. Uh, Mrs. P made a chicken, chicken and pasta. It's a chicken, spinach, and a cream she makes out of cream uh, over macaroni noodles. Okay, so that was it. So yeah, there were some carbs in there today. Uh, the problem I had with carnivore is I dropped about 30 pounds quick, and then I didn't move for a year. Didn't gain weight, didn't lose weight, didn't nothing. And I'm like, if I'm not gaining weight, I'm not losing weight. What's the point of doing it? And so we kind of changed to what I'm doing now, and I still haven't gained any weight or losing any weight. So I'm probably eating better than I was 2 years ago, but the sheer boredom of just eating the same four things over and over and over again got really overwhelming. Long answer. But I didn't give it up. I just kind of adapted it. I'm sorry, Idaho Prepper Gal. What do I recommend as the most idiot-proof veggie to grow for beginners? Uh, Cucumbers, probably about the easiest one you're possibly gonna grow. I mean, it's really hard to grow cucumbers. You can plant them up a trellis, you can leave them on the ground. You put the seed in the ground, it's a nice big seed, you don't worry about it, you water it, poof, it grows. Uh, you don't have big problems with bugs and cucumbers. You don't have problems. The only disease you really have is powdery mildew, and that's easy. You just kind of mix some milk and water and spray it over the leaves, and your disease is pretty much taken care of. Uh, Cucumber beetles, but if you plant nasturtiums next to them, then the cucumber beetles like the nasturtiums more than cucumbers. So the cucumbers are easy. Uh, Peppers and tomatoes, I would say, are easy. The only thing you've got to watch out for those is blossom end rot. You've got to make sure you've got calcium in your soil. Uh, but other than that, those are pretty easy. Potatoes potatoes are a must plant for any prepper because they take no effort. They grow in the crappier the soil, the better. Okay, literally for potatoes. You don't need to fertilize. You don't need to do anything. I mean, the only thing you do is go out there once, and when the plant's 6 inches high, and basically just push dirt over them, done. And you wait about 90, 100 days, and you're just pulling potatoes. And like I said, I mean, I plant a couple of dozen plants, and I get 150 pounds of potatoes. It's okay, you know. That's a good haul for a prepper. I mean, you're that at that point, I 1 year's worth of potatoes would store easy. Okay, can them, leave them fresh in a root cellar. Whatever. You got multiple ways to do it. They're very versatile. Uh, Packed with carbs, so they'll give you energy. It's something that is. I mean, people have asked me before the five vegetables I would tell every prepper to plant: potatoes or sweet potatoes, either one. Both of them are good. Peppers, because whether or not you know this, bell peppers have more vitamin C in them than an orange. Okay. Tomatoes, certainly something to plant. Uh, Corn is something you want to plant, and then zucchini is something you want to plant. And the reason being for all of them is they're easy and prolific. And if you've got a limited amount of space and you've got a lot, limited amount of space, and you're going to need to grow a lot of food. If that's all you're surviving on, you're not going to be growing onions or something like that. There's that's not you're not going to sit down and have an onion for lunch, but you could sit down and have a tomato for lunch or something like that. So those are things to look at. But most idiot-proof vegetable, if you're just starting gardening, start with cucumbers. They're about a no-brainer. D. Gallagher, how are the fish doing? I actually haven't gone out and looked at them lately. Uh, but it's funny, again, still, anytime I walk over there, I'll see the ripples in the water because they can come over to feed them. I mean, when I finally go out and fish in there, it's going to be freaking easy because all I'm going to have to do is walk to the end, drop a line, and they'll all hit it immediately. It's like, I'm going to go out and catch dinner. How many fish do you need? Four or five? Okay, I'll be back in 5 minutes. That's literally all it'll take me. It's like the fish are trained. So, gutter clam, can we get some pinball merch? No, I'm not doing that. Uh, Essential Tim, do I have a cooked salsa recipe? Well, I got a can. Uh, and salsa is salsa is almost a whatever you got. Okay, obviously you put in tomatoes, onions, peppers. What kind of pepper you want? You put chilies in there, you put jalapenos in there. If you like pineapple, you can just put green peppers in there, whatever, anything like that. Obviously, a little bit of cilantro, some sauce, and you're good. People like to put corn in their salsa. You know, Salsa is one of those condiments, if you will, that it's like whatever you got left over, put it in there if it makes sense and go. you know, People put beans in their salsa, like the whole beans, like black bean salsa or something like that. That's really good. I've seen people put pineapple in salsa. That's really good. So, yeah, salsa is one of those things where it's whatever's left over, throw it in a jar. Uh, Jay Boo kind of just answered the same question. H, thoughts on states sharing personal health data with big tech? That's a HIPAA violation. Thank you very much. Nobody should be sharing any sort of health information whatsoever. You know, if a company, your employer could get sued for disclosing any of your health information, what the hell gives a state the right to say, well, gee, you know what? We're going to give it to big tech. What does big tech need my health information for? Yeah, are they going to give me a discount on, I don't know, my Netflix subscription because of my blood pressure? No. So the only thing they want it for is for advertising dollars. No, I'm sorry. If that comes out, there's going to be lawsuits like crazy over that. Trudy, do I plan on planting a ground cover while my garden rests? What I will do is in the fall, obviously, what I do every year is I mow my grass, and right now the grass clippings go in the compost pile. But when fall rolls around, and you guys know the trees I've got around here, when I'm mowing the lawn and there's trees and I'm cutting all that up, I sweep up, break up, chop up all the leaves along with the grass clippings, and I just pile those into the garden and just leave that for worm food, if you will, putting organic material in. Do that this fall, and then after all that is in, then I'm going to put my landscape fabric over the top of it, because the other thing I want to do is kill off any weed seeds or anything like that. Anything that tries to grow won't be able to grow through the fabric. So it should do a pretty good job of killing off any of the weeds, which will make life a little bit easier. Because, especially with these plum tomatoes that I just got, they're, like I said, 4 gallons of them. I mean, they were a bunch that already, I won't say rotted, but ripened on the vine and got soft and dropped seeds and everything. I've got the other garden where I planted those idiot champagne bubbles tomatoes a couple of years ago. I'm still pulling volunteer tomatoes out of that garden from that stuff. It's been a couple of years. So, yeah, I want to see if I can kill off some of that too. Holly H. Did the house down the street from you sell yet? Not as far as I know. The sign's still up there, and uh, it was still up on Realtor today. Uh, Chili fan, I am correct. I love Chelios. Yes, all the I had back in the days of Blackhawks at least. Like, did Chelios stay with the Hawks the whole time? Or didn't they trade him? I don't remember. Tug Hill lost all my potatoes and hanging baskets to white flies. Stop this. I used neem oil. It didn't work. Ah, yeah, see, I'm trying to think because I mean, obviously, when this happened was when you had fruit on, so you don't spray any chemicals. Yeah, that one I don't have an answer for you. Nelly, how is the scammer problem going? Well, we're almost done. It's been a week. Uh, we are down to one last thing that Google needs to fix. You can tell that and the guys who were working on this, trust me, they got into 3 different emails, my YouTube, the AdSense account, changing phone numbers, changing email addresses, and it's been hard because again, the thing is, you guys all know this. You got a problem with Google, you can't call them. It's all got to be done via email, which is irritating beyond belief. But I kind of get it because you know they got billions of accounts, whether it's corporate or personal or whatever. They've been good about getting all this done. It's just taken. We're down to one thing left. Is the only thing that they've still got to clean up or get rid of is that fake email address that the hacker created is still attached to my ad account, so they still get all of that information, which obviously that's private. Jerry Cox, any suggestions? We already did that. Flashlight. Pinball, are we gonna get into it with the Houthis? I hope not. I'm what was it? There was a beheading or something like that at some prayer festival in the Congo. That was the Congo and Rwanda were, I'm not sure there was some war going on there. You've got two South Asian countries going at it. Like the world just seems to want a war because it's like everybody's like, you know what? Everything's going so good. Let's just see if we can go piss off the country next to us. I'm like, you know what? Stop for a little bit. Was it Kim Jong Un, Porky Pig over in North Korea today? The United States needs to recognize us as a nuclear nation. Shut up. You're a pissant country. Okay. Iran thought they had nukes too. How'd that last? You know, Kim Jong Un is a tough guy. It's like listening to Pee Wee Herman, talking about how he's going to be a sperm donor and have tons of kids. Right? Okay. Kim Jong Un. I've got about as much fear of Kim Jong Un as I do about gnats flying around. He's about as irritating as well. Uh, Michelle, tape the patch to the inside of your car window. There you go. Joyful Cottage. Where can we get the fertilizer chart you created? If you email me, I will email it back to you. It's just a spreadsheet. Jennifer Espinoza, question: found big rock seed potatoes. Is it okay to plant them as is, or do I just toss it? You need to cut that rotten part off for sure, because all it's going to do is spread to the rest of the potato and rot the whole thing out. If the other side is still good, I will not let it scab over for about a week, and then you can plant it. But definitely cut off all that rotten. And if you don't have any eyes left after you cut that off, then you're not going to get anything out of it anyway. Dale from Ohio. Did I see that Ryan Sandberg died yesterday? Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine. I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. My entire teenage years are disappearing. Ozzy Osbourne died, Hulk Hogan died, now Ryan Sandberg died. I mean, it's like, I remember '84 in the Cubs, and I had I had gone to college after high school to Michigan State for 1 year before I joined the Army. And I remember watching the playoff games between Cubs and Padres, and it was like, "They're doing great," and then they just collapsed. I was like, "Okay, back to the World Series again." Uh, but yeah, I mean, you go back to those days. It was Mark Grace, Ryan Sandberg, Sean Dunston, who was playing third, Kevin Ory. At the time, it was Luis Gonzalez in left. Sammy Sosa was in right. I don't remember who played center field. And I remember correctly, that was Benito Santiago was the catcher at that point. But yeah, there you go. I can tell you the lineup for the Cubs from 40 years ago. Uh, yeah, that I saw that yesterday morning. I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. So, uh, RM25 hooligan. How long till silver rockets to the moon? I'm guessing, in my opinion. There you go. It's like reading hieroglyphics. I I can't give you an answer to that. Silver and gold have actually stayed steady here for 3 months. Haven't really gone up or down much at all, but I mean, nothing has. I mean, it's like Silver and gold staying steady with the exception of one bounce. Bitcoin hasn't moved. The stock market keeps going up. But summertime for investing in, and you can look at this historically, is usually very boring for multiple reasons. Okay. Uh, People take their vacations in the summer. They're not paying attention much. They don't have the money to invest because they're paying the money to Disney World or something like that. The companies don't have that much money to invest because they're at the end of their fiscal year. This is why everybody says, "Oh, wait till October." Yeah, because October 1st is the beginning of a new fiscal year for the government, for companies, and they all get their new budgets. So then all of a sudden they've got money. People come back from vacation. The kids are in school. You know, it's not light outside here at 8:45. So all of a sudden, that's wait to see what happens over the winter, and you got to watch what's going on with the dollar. I mean, the the trade deal that Trump signed with the EU is a joke, all right? It it's another one of these it's the same thing like I said with the Australian cattle deal. It sounds great, but we don't have enough cows here. So why do we have a deal now that we're gonna sell cows to Australia, right? It sounds like you did something, but it's not gonna work. The same thing with, uh, the EU. "Oh, we're gonna send them $750 billion worth of oil." How? We don't have the ships to do that. We can't send them raw crude because Europe doesn't have the refineries. So, you're gonna triple the production triple the amount of fuel that we send to Europe without having more ships to do it. Do you think these guys are out? Well, you know what? We'll just go fishing for a couple of weeks off our oil tanker because we don't have anything else to do. It, it sounds great. It ain't going to happen. Okay? It's no different than they're opening their market to U.S. cars. Europeans aren't buying U.S. cars. I hate to tell you this. Our cars are too big. Our cars are too different. You know, I mean, sure, you've got a dozen automakers in Europe, but we can't compete on price with the Japanese cars or the Chinese cars that are in Europe. So that's not going to matter either. So I love listening to this. It's a great deal. It's not, makes no sense. Okay. It's like communism. It works on paper, it doesn't work in the real world. Glad we got less tariffs. Uh, no, I'm not. Yeah, there was another good one there with tariffs. Was it Josh Hawley? He wants to send everybody a $600 refund check from all the tariffs. Dumbass, the reason we all agreed to it was to pay down the national debt. Okay. We don't need 600 bucks in our pocket. We need the debt paid off so we're not bankrupt here in 5 years. 600, having $600 now or having the country bankrupt in 5 years, I'd rather see the country not bankrupt. We lost a bunch of space here. Country Humans Network. Silver question. A peace dollar melt is almost 30 bucks, but they only want 24.50. Why the difference of near $5? Uh, because they've got to put some premium into buying and selling on it. 20% is a little steep. Uh, Usually you're paying anything under 15% on the way in is good. You should be able to get somewhere between 3 and 5 on the way out. So, I mean, if it's $30 worth of silver, I wouldn't sell it for less than, say, 28. That was it, 28.50 maybe. I talked to other places. You call the local coin shop, they're gonna try to hit you for a 10% commission on the way out. Call the online brokers, they'll hit you with 3. So, Holly H, can we have a pantry tour video? No, that will never happen. I don't want you to see it. I'm not putting up online what I've got, where I've got, and everything like this. So that's nobody's business. Yeah, simply put. Scott McHugh, pinball. How is PBJ doing? Mrs. P and the dogs. I haven't talked to PBJ in a week or so. She is on her third rotation now, so still doing fine there. Mrs. P is still doing Mrs. P things and puppies, puppy things. So it's very boring around here, with the exception of the hacker. That was the low light of the last week. Uh, Robert Henderson, what were the ads on your channel history when I was looking today? I don't understand. What were the ads on your channel? On your channel Okay, I I don't understand your question. I'm sorry. Pinball, do I ever dehydrate my veggies? Oh, absolutely. Uh, I mean, fruits, we dehydrated a boatload of strawberries. This year, all the tops to the onions, matter of fact, I was using them today. I took all the tops, I dehydrated all the tops because we kept the bulb greens. I dehydrated, turned that into onion flakes. So when I was making spaghetti sauce today, we used the dried onions into spaghetti sauce. So that was that. I mean, yeah, spaghetti sauce is everything ours. Our tomatoes, our garlic, our onions. It wasn't ours. It was the salt. Uh, 54 cal, Mr. P. What's the name of the beefsteak tomato you grew a couple of years ago? Something like Sidorni something something. I couldn't go through my seeds. I was going through my seeds and couldn't find a name for it. Is it Pudovny? Oh God, so many different kinds of tomatoes. Oh, I'm I'm trying to see if I can. There we go. Sakarny Pudovchuk. Sakharny. Second word Pudovicchok. Sakarny Pudovchuk. Pudovchuk. You got my mind going. You were close enough with the Sidorni. It got me in the right direction. Okay. Wow. Look at that, correct right. What's my favorite Ozzy song? You got to say "Crazy Train" is there with one of them. I mean, just because. I mean, even though that's not technically considered one of Ozzy's best, but Randy Rhoads' guitar on that was just insane. Uh, I know Mrs. P's favorite one is "Mama, I'm Coming Home." Uh, I could say "I don't know," and then you'd go the song, or you don't know. Uh, I'd, I'd say of all of them, it's probably Crazy Train. It's probably, and I mean, that just, there's good memories of that song from when I was in high school. So, Broke Stacker, I 100% agree with all the facts you dropped Sunday, but I'm still bothered. If I own a bakery, why am I required to bake? There we go. All right. Looks like I'm back. Okay. There we go. Mark 5x5s. Okay. Yeah, we lost connection there real quick. And now I forget what question I was even answering. Because what we got like 2 minutes left. Four. Okay. Kathleen Maddox says the Fed had their meeting. I thought it was be Tuesday, Wednesday. It is. The Fed will announce tomorrow afternoon at 2. So, and nobody expects them to do anything. Essential TAM, what I consider ETFs, exchange traded funds. Uh, in case you guys don't know what those are, it's a mutual fund that trades on the stock market as opposed to your other mutual funds that only price at the end of the day. An ETF trades like a stock, so the price is moving all day long. Which I consider ETFs in gold and silver in addition to your personal holdings, so you could benefit from both sides of the market. No. Okay. Uh, I get what you're saying, because for a lot of people, it's like, oh, I've got my IRA or something like that. I want to invest in gold or I want to invest in silver. Uh, and well, there's plenty of companies out there that say, oh, you get a gold IRA. Well, now you're limiting yourself to only that. If I'm the reason I don't want to invest this in an ETF is because, again, it's paper. Know there's at a minimum 11 times more paper silver out there on the open market than there is silver to answer to all of it. So the problem you've got with your ETFs and gold and silver is the only thing you're ever going to get out of it is an IOU. What I look at if you want to get into the metals investing that way is look at the miners, so a Barrick Gold or, one of the other gold miners or silver miners or platinum miners or stuff. I'd look more at that than I would one of the ETFs. Uh, that's just me. Peripheral EA, has Drill Baby Drill started yet? Well, they're really talking about it in California right now. That uh, who was it? Doug Burgum was out there the other day, and they had got everything ready to start drilling off the coast of California, and of course, Pencil Neck, Adam Schiff for brains. Uh, is trying to fight it because, oh, it'll harm our coast. It's not like they're putting this on the beach, dumbass. They're putting this, 4 or 5 miles out there. So, and trust me, the lovely view of that you got off the beach in California. Hey, Marge, look, another boat of illegals isn't exactly what I'd call, pretty anymore. All right. 8:59. Let's see if I can get one more in. I was answering about baking an undesirable cake. Okay, yeah, finishing off that thought. I get it. If you're a religious organization, I don't see why you should have to bake a satanic cake or you have to bake a same-sex wedding cake or something like that. I get it, but not every bakery is, for example. The stupid part is, the satanic church or whatever, the same-sex couple, they know that all they're trying to do is cause problems. I mean, there's 10 bakeries in town. We're going to pick the one that says, you know, cakes for Christ. They're not going to pick, Barb's Bakery because Barb is just a baker. She's not, it's just liberals go out of their way to cause problems. This is it. They do not know how to be polite members of society. They just want to go out and bitch. And while I completely agree with you that you shouldn't have to do something like that, we are walking that fine line because between back to lunch counters and stuff like that. We don't serve your kind here, and I don't ever want to see that either. So, all right, guys, that's it for a Tuesday. Have a good one. We will see you in the AM.